Adaora lived in the biggest house in the city, a mansion with tall gates, sparkling fountains, and a room so big they echoed when you talked. From the outside, her life seemed perfect. She had beautiful clothes, toys from all over the world, and went to the best schools. Adaora didn't feel lucky. She often felt alone. Her father, Mr. Duru, was always busy. He worked long hours running his big companies and barely spent time with her. When he was home, he was serious and strict, always on the phone or in meetings. Her mother had left Adaora when she was 6 years old, and Adaora barely remembered her. She had left a note saying, "I need to live a life where I can breathe. Please take care of Adaora," but Mr. Duru never talked about it.
Down the rabbit hole.
Adaora sat in her room, staring blankly at the walls, as she often did when she was lonely. But today, something felt different. As she gazed deeper into the wall, the panes began to swirl, and a small door materialized. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow stairway that descended into the darkness. Adora's heart skipped a bit as Mara, Tito, and Zubi appeared beside her. "Come with us, Adaora," Mara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We have a world to show you."
Fantastical land.
Adaora hesitated for a moment before stepping through the doorway. The stairway spiraled down, and she felt a strange sensation like she was shrinking. When she reached the bottom, she found herself in a fantastical world. Rolling hills of iridescent colors stretched before her, punctuated by towering trees with trunks made of crystals. Zubi, the ever-inventor, was fascinated by the glowing plants and began to examine them closely. Tito wandered ahead, her feet bare and her hair flowing in the breeze. Mara, meanwhile, was busy chasing after a group of mischievous creatures that resembled crossbreeds between rabbits and butterflies.
Tea party.
As Adaora explored this fantastical realm, she stumbled upon a grand party. The guests were an assortment of strange and wonderful creatures, all gathered around a long, curved table. Mara, Tito, and Zubi were already seated, sipping tea from the delicate china cups. Adaora took a seat, feeling a bit bewildered. Zubi, in his splendid top hat and colorful suit, poured her a cup of tea. As she sipped the fragrant brew, she realized that the tea was changing flavors with every sip: sweet, sour, spicy, and fruity.
Dance party.
Suddenly, a loud booming voice interrupted the tea party. Mara, standing with a giant microphone and a shiny ball gown, declared that it was time for a dance party. Adaora, Tito, and Zubi were recruited as dancers in a group with Mara and other creatures in their various dancing groups. The dance was epic, with flamingos doing the flamingo dance, rabbits doing the rabbit dance. As the dance party reached its climax, the ragdoll cat appeared, his mischievous grin illuminating the darkness. He offered Adaora cryptic advice, speaking in riddles that only made sense in this fantastical world. "Sometimes you must lose yourself to find yourself," the ragdoll cat said, his voice fading as his body disappeared. "Remember, Adaora, the boundaries between reality and fantasy are thinner than you think."
Return to reality.
As the sun began to set in the imaginary realm, Adaora realized it was time to return to her own world. Mara, Tito, and Zubi bid her farewell, promising to remain by her side always. Adaora climbed the stairway, feeling a sense of loss as she left the fantastical world behind. And as she drifted off to sleep, she noticed something strange. The wall where the door had appeared was now covered in a beautiful mural, depicting the imaginary realm and its inhabitants. Adaora smiled, knowing that she could return to that world whenever she needed to. As Adaora grew older, she started hearing stories about her father's work. People whispered about how Mr. Duru's company took over smaller businesses, leaving workers without jobs. Adaora was determined to stop her father's evil doings, but she couldn't do so alone. Adaora would then seek the help of her friends from the fantastical land.
Episode 2. Adaora's Amazing Adventures.